So today I'm talking about a Toyota with the P0455 code, what it is and how you go about fixing it. So what is a Toyota P0455 code? Well, it's an evaporative emission control system, leak detected gross leak. And what does this mean? Well, modern cars have an evap system that helps contain all the gas vapors inside the gas tank, and they get sent back into the engine and get burnt off so they don't escape into the atmosphere. And the onboard computer's seen a problem with this, so I have to be troubleshooted to know why. And some of the possible causes of this, well, it could be a bad fuel cap, purge control valve, vent valve, charcoal canister, fuel tank pressure sensor, evap leak, and blown fuse. Now keep in mind that usually when it's one of these things, you'll also get other codes. So if you are getting other codes, it'll help you narrow down exactly where it might be. And so the first thing to do when you get this code is to go check out the gas cap. And the gas cap might be good, but just go check it out. Be sure it's not damaged, there's no cracks in it, that it's sealing good, because the evap system needs to go into a slight vacuum in order to work properly. And the gas cap is a part of this. It's supposed to seal when it goes all the way in. And if it does look damaged, it's probably a good idea to go ahead and replace. One thing to mention is that if you do replace the gas cap, be sure to get an OEM original gas cap for your particular Toyota, since third-party aftermarket gas caps, they can cause issues sometimes. They don't seal all the way. But first thing to go and check would be the gas cap. And so if the gas cap looks good, then there's going to be a few components to go and check out. And basically what's going on with the evap system is you have a hose, it's leaving the gas tank, the gas vapors are going up, they go to a thing called the charcoal canister, and this does a few things. Mainly it holds all the gas vapors when the engine's not running, but it also usually has the vent valve solenoid. And then there's a hose that leaves the charcoal canister and it goes up to the top of the engine, and there's a purge valve solenoid up here. And what this does is that when the engine's off, it stays closed, and so the gas vapors can't escape. And when the engine is running, it opens and the gas vapors go into the engine to get burnt off. And so the first thing to do is to go check out this purge valve. It'll be located up on top of the engine somewhere, and it'll just be a small valve. I have two hoses going to it and a wiring harness. And so go check it out. Be sure it all looks good. Be sure it looks like it's plugged in good and everything. Always keep in mind that bad wiring can cause the same issues as a bad solenoid. So check out the wiring. Be sure it's plugged in good. But mainly, check out these hoses. Be sure there doesn't look like there's no cracks and that it looks like they're connected good. And there's different methods you could go about testing the purge valve solenoid if you wanted to. But the next thing to do would be go check out this purge valve solenoid up inside of the engine compartment. And one thing to keep in mind that all this wiring is on a fuse. So it's always a good idea to check for any blown fuses, which is usually inside the engine compartment. But the next thing to go and do is to check out this purge valve and be sure that it all looks good. And so if that all looks good, then the next thing to go and check out is going to be this charcoal canister and this vent valve solenoid. And these are usually located inside the same package. And the charcoal canister is just a square box looking thing, and the vent valve just opens when the computer tells it to, so it tests the system and things like this. And so next thing to do is go locate that. It'll be located up underneath by the gas tank somewhere. And again, check out all these hoses. Be sure they all look like they're plugged in good. There's no leaks going on. You can check out the wiring. Be sure that's all plugged in good. And mainly what you want to check out is the vent valve that's located on it. And there's some different ways you could go about testing this. If you have a good OBD2 scan tool, there's usually an option inside of there to enable it. And when it's enabled, you can hear it click, and that usually means that it's working. But like I said, there's some different methods you can go about testing it on there. There's some YouTube videos on that if you want to check that out. But the next thing to do is to go check out this charcoal canister and vent valve. And again, mainly check out these hoses and be sure there's no leaks going on. And so if that all looks good, the purge valve looks good, the charcoal canister looks good, then very likely there is a leak inside of one of these hoses going around up to the top of the engine from the gas tank. There is a fuel tank pressure sensor inside of here. It'll be located on the fuel pump usually. And what this does is it just monitors what's going on inside of the system and reports back to the computer. So if this does go bad, then there might not be an issue inside the evap system, but the onboard computer thinks there is since this sensor has failed. So that's always something to keep in mind. And something else that can be tested is a fuel tank pressure sensor. But basically at this point, if you've gone through and checked everything else out, then very likely there is a leak somewhere inside of one of these hoses. And so if you took it to a mechanic, what they would do is they would feed smoke into the system with the smoke machine, and wherever the smoke came out, they would know where the leak's at. Now very likely you're not going to have a smoke machine, but what you can do is just go back to that purge valve solenoid located on top of the engine and check all these hoses really good, all the way back around. You can follow the hose going into the engine, and you can follow the other hose going back down to the charcoal canister, and all the hoses right here and all the way into the gas tank, because very likely if you checked everything else out and all that all looks good, it tests good, then very likely there is a leak somewhere inside of one of these hoses. And so that's basically it. I just wanted to go over how you go about fixing a Toyota with the P0455 code. If you have anything to add, please comment down below. If you have any questions, ask me and I'll try to answer them. If this video helps you, please click like, please click subscribe, and have a good day.